Hello and welcome to another video. So in this video I wanted to go over Chat-GPT and AI in general a little bit, whether or not I think it's going to replace us and have us all twiddling our thumbs doing nothing all day, and how to leverage it as a developer, someone who's learning to code. So first and foremost, do I think that AI is going to replace most jobs out there? Yes, I do. I think it is an eventuality. I think the caveat there, though, is how long will that take? And that's anybody's guess. But I don't think it's going to happen anytime too soon. Although it has replaced some lower level desk jobs and it has enabled some companies and teams to operate more efficiently so they don't need to hire as many people. Like I think Shopify, for example, is going down the route of integrating AI into their tech support so they don't have to have as many tech support staff. But that just means as a consumer, you're going to be talking to AI, getting frustrated with AI when you'd rather talk to a human. So tech support's not going to go away, but the team might be a little smaller, right? That's an example. And I think there are many instances where AI is enabling teams to do more with less. And yes, I think eventually most jobs, if AI is going to continue growing the way it has and as impressive as it has been, it will only become more impressive. It's probably an eventuality where it will replace most non-physical labor jobs. That said, there's still going to be need for people to control that AI, right? But this is way down the road. It's all conjecture, it's all guesswork. I think a ton of fear has been injected into the tech world, developers specifically, with these bullshit headlines coming out saying developers will be replaced, blah, blah, blah. Sensationalism, right? If there's anything you need to know about media and people who write blog posts, is that they want and they need clicks to survive. So they will write, say, type any crap that they feel will get those clicks and likes, right? There's so much crap out there. So my honest opinion, and I am no expert, is that we are not in any risk rush to lose our jobs right now. Now, what is the timeline? Maybe it's 5 years. I think 5 years is too soon. 10 years, maybe we're getting to the point where there will be substantial contractions or changes in the number of developers being hired. It could be longer than that, right? We just don't know. Now, anybody's guess, right? But that said, I do believe with the increase in use of AI in society, a single team will not need to hire as many people, but it will also lower the bar to entry for integrating software into all these areas of our life. So I think that the number of software-based companies is only going to grow, right? And every one of those companies is going to need people who understand how to use AI in order to create the software that they need. I just don't see AI replacing developers outright anytime soon. I think it's going to change the landscape maybe in the next 5-10 years in a more significant way. However, there's still going to be a need for people who understand how an application is built, the architecture, the considerations, turning ideas into software, right? Machines are no good at that yet. So that's where the humans will play a role. But anyway, this is like watching Terminator. It's way down the road. I think what's important now is that developers aren't going anywhere. There's still a ton of hiring for developers. Companies need developers. AI is helping and assisting developers to be more efficient in cases, right? It's a very useful tool from that perspective. But developers are not going anywhere. The tough part right now is just the economic conditions that are making finding a job hard. AI is just another variable within that. On the economic conditions, anyone out there who is listening to this wondering, should I continue down my path of learning to develop and become a software developer? I'd say if you're passionate about it, yes, do it, right? There will be a job for you at some point if you put in the time, the work, and you develop the skills that are necessary, right, to get a job. You've got to put that time work in and show that you're worth being hired. I still think that there are jobs out there, and like any economic condition. It's a cycle. There are up times, there are down times. Hiring will begin again. I think that is an inevitability within the next year or two. Hiring will begin again. The tech landscape may be changing, but there'll still be hiring, there will still be developers, there will be AI, but I think there will just be more software-based companies as well. So I don't think the demand for developers is going to decrease significantly in the next, say, 5, 8, 10 years. Now, it's me just guessing, but that's my take on it. Now, what do I think of AI and Chat-GPT specifically? I don't understand what it is to give an in-depth answer on that, but from, let's say, the practical sense of using it, I think it's very handy. It's really helped me. I had, let's say, junior level experience going into my current job, but AI, ChatGPT, has helped me operate at the mid-engineer level, where I'm able to build full integrations, features by myself without supervision, right? This is kind of mid-level engineer stuff. Now, that's not to say that AI gave me the answers or AI did the work, because it certainly didn't. I had to know how to do these things. AI just sped me up as someone who was like a big sponge trying to learn all these new technologies and ways to do things. That's all AI did. It just made me learn faster. So I am the developer. I am the mid-level engineer. AI facilitated that growth in me. Sometimes I rely on AI to write some basic code, maybe some JavaScript, because I don't enjoy writing JavaScript. I don't write it very often. I say, hey, write this JavaScript for me. I'll look at it and it'll be kind of crappy, and I'll change some stuff and I'll refactor it, and then it's good to go. It speeds me up though. Like if I didn't have AI, tasks would take me, I couldn't quantify it, but some tasks would take me twice as long. And other tasks, it doesn't help me at all. In fact, it slows me down, right? But AI is very useful. It's a great tool. I think it helps a lot of people operate quicker. And what I love it for is, for me, for example, going into a Rails-based, Ruby on Rails, this is a Rails-based company, there were technologies that I hadn't been exposed to yet, that I hadn't used. Things like background jobs, Sidekick, using Redis. I hadn't used it before when I was at FreshBooks. Never touched Redis. These kinds of things. Now that this app uses them, I had to learn, okay, what is this thing? How do I configure it? How does it work exactly? How do I look into, say, background jobs in Sidekick? How do I understand what memory bloat is? How do I diagnose this? What are some potential tools or techniques or approaches that I can use? This kind of learning about these things, this is where AI is really powerful. Because in the old days, we go to Google and we type something in, and you would just be provided with links. Maybe videos are useful, but usually it's links to websites where there's blog articles and descriptions. Or, you pick up a textbook, or you look at documentation. I mean, documentation is usually the first place that you want to look. But there's many ways to learn about something. But it takes time. You've got to read paragraphs, passages, thousands of words to digest the information. And reading information too, as it's given to you, written by somebody else, may be a slow way of learning, because you want to learn one specific thing, but you have to read tons and tons just to get an answer on that one specific thing. That's gone out the window now with AI for a lot of things. You can type in a very nuanced, specific question with prompts that help the AI understand your context, and you can get a very good answer back instantly, right? That will save you hours. AI is fantastic at synthesizing information for you, so you get what you need to know and only what you need to know, and you don't need to waste time. You can take that gem, use it, and on your way. So that's what I love about AI. It really speeds up learning if you know how to use it. Now, as somebody who is learning how to code, I'm still learning how to code, but I've got to a point where, like I said, I think I'm at a mid-level engineer point now. But as somebody who is still learning fundamentals, somebody who hasn't got their first job yet, someone who is very junior, I would say use ChatGPT and AI cautiously and sparingly. I think it's great to use it for that synthesis of information to learn, the 15,000-foot view of something and get a grasp of like, I don't quite understand what this is doing. I'll ask ChatGPT and it will give you, 200 words explaining something. You're like, oh, okay, now I understand. I think it's great for that. However, I would not use it for any of your actual coding questions. And the reason for that is because, first and foremost, ChatGPT, at least 3.5 is what I use. Its code sucks. It's really quite crappy. It's impressive, but it's crap. A lot of the time, it gives you kind of weird stuff. And if you don't know the difference, you're not going to pick up on that weird stuff that it gives you, or the incorrect stuff, just outright incorrect. And oftentimes I'm correcting ChatGPT while I'm using it, right? Because I see that it's making mistakes or it's doing something that I don't want it to do. And so I have to kind of work with it and bounce around to get it to where I want it to go. As a junior, somebody who's learning, you may not be at the point where you can do that with ChatGPT. So you might take the code that it gives you and you might use it, and then you might get in trouble. It may not work the way you want it to, right? It could lead you down a bad habit of coding that way. So for that reason, I think for anybody who's still junior and learning, I would use ChatGPT very sparingly. The best way for you to learn is to learn the old school way, right? Go on the Odin project, go through the lessons and do the projects, right? Learn to read the documentation. So important to be able to distill information from the documentation at the foundational, fundamental level. Understand the fundamentals of a programming language, how to use it, its data structures, right? And the different tools that you get within a language, and then a framework as well. The same goes for a framework. Understand how to use the framework first, whether you're doing Rails, React, whatever. Build some projects in it first. Don't touch AI. Do it yourself, because that's the best way you're going to learn and pick up the fundamentals yourself and the good habits that are taught to you in the curriculum that you're using. And then another great way to build your fundamentals is to look at other people's code. And one of the great things about the Odin project is that you can see other people's submissions. So go through, check out 10 people's submissions, and you will be able to pick out good ones and bad ones, because the good ones, you'll be able to understand exactly what's going on, and it will feel like you're reading a book because it's that easy to understand what's going on. And whereas the bad ones are messy, they're hard to understand, they're complicated, overcomplicated, right? And then you can pick up those good coding practices from those good projects. This is the best way to learn. ChatGPT is not going to enable you to learn like that, right? I think you need to get to a fundamental sort of level of mastery in software before ChatGPT becomes a tool that you can then use to your benefit without picking up bad habits, bad ideas. So that's my thoughts on using GPT AI while you're learning to code. I would use it very cautiously. Use it for that data synthesis piece that I was talking about to distill information very quickly and bounce ideas off of it. I'd say a caveat to there would be, if you don't understand a software development concept, I think it's okay to ask it questions to help you understand something. I don't know, maybe you don't understand what something like a ternary is doing, or maybe there's a method that you've come across that you want to dissect and understand what's doing. You could paste that code in there and it will give you an explanation. These kinds of things I think are helpful, right? But don't let it write your code for you. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Do not let GPT write your code for you. You have to create that code from in here, because by doing that, you're really solidifying those foundations in your own mind, all right? Don't let GPT write that code for you. Not yet. Not until you've done it enough that you can pick out good from bad, and that the 80-20 concepts of coding, the data structures that you use and the things you use, like if it's object oriented in Ruby, modules, classes, how to use object oriented programming, define methods, loops, the different data structures, once all that's become second nature to you, then go ahead and use GPT to give you the code, because then you'll be able to say, the code sucks, this is why it sucks, I need it to do this instead. If you haven't got those fundamentals down, don't let it write your code for you, I think. Curious what everyone else thinks about AI, GPT, and its use value for you while you're learning. How do you use it? And do you think that it will replace your job one day? I know that's a hot topic, and there's a lot of sensationalist bollocks out there around that topic. But I think it's important to be realistic with it. It will change things, and I think it's better to understand how to use it to your advantage than ignore it. So definitely do learn how to use it once you're comfortable with programming, I'd say. All right, that's my thoughts on AI, GPT, coding, and learning to code. Have a good one. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, comment. This is YouTube after all. See ya.